Hello everyone. Welcome back to Catch Up Court TV, the spiciest court in the land. All we do is catch up on trials here on the channel. We also look at legal cases and any case that has caught our eye, and there's one particular case that's going on right now in Washington State that has caught my eye, and it is a case brought against Ihsan Ali and Zahraa Ali for the attempted murder of their child, 16-year-old child. What's her name? I forgot. Fatima Ali. That's the one. So today is the first day that they went off into trial, and we're going to be covering that. But first, I want to go back and look at the news reports when this incident first started. So without further, we are gonna go straight to that. Thank you everyone that have tuned in to this stream. Welcome to you all. Let me know how you're feeling in the chat section. Let me just send a message to the chat to say hi. But yeah, without further, we're just gonna go through the body of the case and what has been brought since 2024, and just get those up to speed that may not have known what had happened. So basically, it says here let me just switch over. So basically, it says here two Washington State parents are facing charges after several bystanders are stepped in to stop a father from strangling his 17-year-old daughter outside a high school. Authorities say the incident was a possible honor killing. That's what caught my eye about this. Josh Wagner was driving with his family on October 18th, 2024, near Timberland High School in Lacey, when he noticed what he thought was a group of kids fighting. But as he jumped in to break up the fight, he realized it was a man choking a teenage girl. So he testified in court today, and he basically said it at the time. So I pulled over to try and get the kids to stop, and realized it was an adult male who had a teenager in a headlock and subdued him till the police arrived. Wagner said, "It was pretty angering. I didn't know what was going on, why it was happening. All the kids were screaming, yelling." Court records state Ihsan Ali was choking his 17-year-old daughter to the point where she had lost consciousness as her boyfriend and other students tried to pull her away. The teen's mother, Zahraa Ali, was also grabbing at her and choking at her, according to court documents. Investigators say teen's father also punched her boyfriend. Victor Barnes' son was one of the students trying to stop the confrontation and separate the 17-year-old from her parents. "He proceeded to black out and punch my son in the face," Barnes said. So this is the interesting part about this, because there are two factors at play here, and I'm gonna go into those after this news report. The victim eventually got away and ran into this school screaming, "My dad was trying to kill me." It prompted a lockdown as the school staff blocked her parents from getting to her. Court records indicate that the incident could be related to a possible honor killing. The 17-year-old told investigators her father had recently been threatening her after she refused to go to another country for an arranged marriage with an older man. Barnes say the issues with the Alis have been going on for months, with one prior incident forcing them to get a temporary protection order against Zahraa Ali. There was testimony in regards to this as well in court. We're gonna go through that. Court records state that the mother was also banned from stepping onto school property. A lot of these stories exist. A lot of these stories are out there. Some aren't able to be heard for whatever reason. I just want people to be aware these stories do exist, Barnes said. The parents are facing criminal charges, including assault and attempted kidnapping. They are due in court next Wednesday. So let's just go into the charging, and this was a charge that was brought against Ihsan Ali. It was at the time anyway. It was attempted second degree murder, attempted kidnapping in the second degree, attempted kidnapping in the first degree, attempted assault in the fourth degree, attempted assault second degree domestic violence. I think the domestic violence has been I think the assault that they have is for sorry I think the kidnapping may have been dropped for this case. I'm not too sure if they are following through or if they have dropped some charges. Zahraa Ali also faced violation of a protection domestic order violence. Sorry, let me start again. Violation of a protection order domestic violence, assault second degree domestic violence, burglary second degree, attempted murder second degree, attempted kidnapping second degree, attempted kidnapping the first degree. So I'm not sure. We'll wait to try unfold, because when I read the documents in regards to what they're being charged with in trial, it seemed that it was only attempted kidnapping, attempted murder, as well as violation of a restraining order. I think that's what I read when I read on Court TV's news report. But is another source. But based on what has been based on what has been uploaded here from the official charging documents, etc. This is what I found. So the most interesting thing that's come out of this is that the judge, 3 days before trial, or 4 days, I don't know, she had refused for the testimony regarding the arranged marriage to what come in. She had said that can't come in. That was very, very weird to me. I do not know why that can't come in, especially when you know that this is the fact that the father had reacted in the way that he did, in the manner that he did, and yet the reason for that reaction cannot come in. To me, that shows motives, and I don't know if they are going to be able to prove that it was attempted murder based on this, because they have to have it intent. In fact, let's go into the charging document. The jury instructions, a sample jury instructions from Washington State. Let's just talk about that. It says here to convict the defendant of the crime attempted, each of the following elements of the crime must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. That on the date the defendant did act with let me start again. That on or about the defendant did act that was a substantial step towards the commission of the crime. That the act was done with the intent to commit, and the act occurred in the state of Washington, which it did. So based on that, and based on the fact that when we go into the Ninth Circuit Court and how it deals with attempted murder, it says here that it says that first, the defendant did something that was a substantial step toward killing, and that strongly corroborated that the defendant's intent to commit the crime. Second, when the defendant took substantial step, the defendant intended to kill. And third, the attempted killing occurred at a specific jurisdiction, which in this case is Washington. I know that this is federal, but reading on the jury instructions that we just read, they seem to have adopted this. So I believe that they have also adopted the definitions. I don't know. We have to wait for the jury instructions to come out in this trial to completely know. But based on what I'm reading here, it says here that mere preparation is not a substantial step toward committing the crime. To constitute a substantial step, a defendant act or actions must unequivocally demonstrate that the crime will take place unless interrupted by independent circumstances. So for me, you look at the video that was shown in court, which we're going to get through to once I start going through each witnesses. But you look at that video, and you can tell that with the amount of people that were trying to stop him from actually strangling the daughter and take him off the daughter, that this might be enough to demonstrate that the crime would have taken place and it wasn't interrupted. For example, to me, I still think that the honor killing, well, not the honor killing, the arranged marriage should have definitely come in, because to me, I think that really helps with the element of substantial step. Maybe the defense, and I don't know about this, maybe the defense can try and argue that because the boyfriend was of another faith, that this may have been enough to go after him, for example. That's considering that they're not able, or they were not successful in getting in the arranged marriage information. But like I said, this case has just started, so there is a long way to go. The mention of the arranged marriage might come in based on witnesses. I think that I think based on what's come out so far on day one, the jury already knows that she was actually planning that she was running away from home. And we already heard from opening statements. I'm not going to go through the opening statements, but we have already heard from opening statements that she had a travel scheduled for her, and she just refused to go for that travel, which is why she ran away. So but that was just opening statements. It's not proof, it's not fact. We have to hear it from the witnesses. So if someone does come in to testify that there was a travel scheduled and she ran away from home, and and that's what set the father off, maybe from there on they can probe further into those traveling arrangements. But like I said, because the judge ruled it that they can't get into that, maybe that's why the defense even made the argument in the first place, to say that she was in the wrong to run away or whatever, to defend. To be honest, the defense has really it seems senseless how you would try and defend this and make it seem like the person that was near death, that they were somehow in the wrong for what they did. And it's not like it was self-defense or anything like that, but they were just, the way that opening statement, it just rubbed me the wrong way. But the first witness up was John DeNicola, and he was the bus driver on that day that was going through the routes that he normally does. Thank you. Once again, if you're watching this back on replay, or if you're watching this live, make sure you say hi. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know in the comment section if you're watching this back on replay. Yeah. So without further, I'm just gonna get in. Oh, almost forgot. Don't forget to hit that like button as well. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe, because I always do videos recapping the trials that are done, and also doing live recaps as well per day for the trials that does interest me. So if that's what you like, if you enjoy watching trials, make sure that you tune in to us. So I'm just gonna go through to the first witness, John DeNicola. Like I said, he testified that he saw these people fighting, and because he saw that it was a grown man, he normally doesn't stop. He normally doesn't stop to actually say that to he normally doesn't stop to stop fights. He testified that he has stopped fights before, but he normally doesn't stop because sorry, he testified that he has seen a lot of fights at bus stops before, but this one stuck out to him because it was a grown adult strangling a child, and he had to stop to go and try to take the child, take the adult away from the child. So there was a part of his testimony that really stuck out to me, and I just want to go through that.
Hitting him, trying to get him to stop.
So, oh, that means we go back a bit too far back.
And at that, well,
So what is testifying to is the steps that he took to try and get him to get off the daughter.
they were fighting. Punches were being thrown, and a big blade punch onto the male student, who fell back. And at that time, the adult actually grabbed this female student.
And when
Grabbed
you,
it.
sorry, when you say grabbed her, what do you mean by that?
He grabbed her, like for the front, spun around, and then put a chokehold on her.
And what happened next?
They fell to the ground, and he held her. A couple of other students came running over, and they were hitting him, trying to get him to stop.
And where are you when this is occurring?
I was in my driver's seat. I just fully stopped at the bus stop.
Okay. Well, did you do anything or have any immediate response while you're still in the bus?
Yes, I did. As soon as I noticed the fight going on, I noticed he was an adult. I started honking the horn in hopes of getting his attention and possibly getting him to stop.
Was that successful?
It was not successful.
So what happened next?
So I secured my bus by putting in neutral, engaging the emergency brake, and I went out there and confronted the man while he was on the ground holding the female student, and I told him, let her go. I believe I said it probably 2 or 3 times, let her go.
And how did you say that?
I yelled it. I said, let her go, let her go.
And did he?
He did not.
And the fact that you saw a lot of kids as well yelling the same thing as well, and the fact that he did not let go, this is literally at least is showing that the intent to actually kill was there in this attempted murder. So that's what we are getting here from this eyewitness.
So what happened next?
When he wouldn't let her go, I bent over, I reached, and I released his grasp. He was not letting go. I had to forcefully remove his grasp from her. When she was free, somebody grabbed her.
I'm gonna have you pause. That's okay. I'm gonna have you pause for a second. And when you say you were releasing his grasp, what do you mean by that? What does that mean to you?
Well, as he was holding her, he was clutching his arm, and he was choking her. I noticed her eyes rolling into the back of her head. So, and so right there, I grabbed his hand and I pulled it off. Was able to spread his arms apart, and that's when she got free.
So that's the only reason why Fatima is actually living, because you will hear from other testimonies in regards to the condition that Fatima was. We're gonna get to that, but based on what he's saying, like, he thought that she was going to die if he didn't let her go, and based on what he is testifying to here, if he did not intervene the way he did, he would have killed her. So I think that means exactly what we read in regards to unless interrupted, interrupted by surrounding actions must unequivocally demonstrate the crime will take place unless interrupted by independent circumstances. So this wasn't an independent circumstance. The crime had already taken place. So as it said, it's not just mere preparation. They have to actually take a step to actually do the crime. And in my opinion, he actually did. and this is the only reason why he stopped, why he didn't actually do the crime, which was the fact that that this person had stepped in and interrupted. So yeah, so yeah, let in court we couldn't see the incident. During court we he there was videos presented from the bus vantage point. I would have loved to see what it looked like from the bus vantage point, but we couldn't see it in court due to a court order. But it was played during the break, which I'm gonna play the video now during the break. So yeah, let's go to it. It is graphic. I should have warned you guys. Trigger warnings. I should actually disclaim that from now on. But yeah, trigger warnings for a lot of the cases that I do. These are very graphic. So yeah. I believe I don't know who was punching. I don't know who was punching. I believe that would be the bus driver. In all honesty, if that was over here, he might have faced charges from doing what he did. Britain is different to America. Like over here, for doing something like that, you could get charged. So yeah, like it's a wild west out here. But but he went on to testify on cross examination that he would have he would have brought Fatima onto the bus and kept her away from him if he had a chance to. So that was in the case, or in the event that there was no police presence or anything like that. So that was the first witness. The second witness that went on was Officer Hine. I hope I pronounce his name right, but he's from the Lacey Police Department, and he was there around 2 p.m. He said when he got there, he saw that the male subject was pinned to the ground by another male subject. So he must have seen the vantage point of where the bus driver had likely subdued the man, or the witness Josh Wagner, because he's going to testify to this as well, that he must have seen that he was subduing Ihsan Ali. So he testifies. So he did say that the male subject that was pinned to the ground was Ihsan Ali, and there was something. He also testifies that to have gone to his it. The one thing that was very interesting to me as well in his testimony was the fact that he said that he has dealt with this family before, because of the fact that they had reported the daughter missing. So he had been to the residence before, and he also testifies that and he also went on to definitely confirm that it was Mr. Wagner that was holding Ali down. Let me go straight to his testimony in regards to going to St. Peter's Hospital to see on Fatima Ali. Let me just find it. Here we go.
And the individual that was holding Mr. Ali down when you first arrived on the bus stop, who was that individual?
That was Mr. Wagner.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into his testimony after this, but we're gonna go into Mr. Wagner's testimony after this. But his testimony was really key into the conditions that Fatima was left in.
And did you at some point speak to Mr. Wagner?
I did.
And did he, without going into what he specifically told you, was he able to sort of tell you what his observations were of what had occurred at the bus stop.
Yes.
Okay. And you testify that Officer Beltran was the officer that spoke with Fatima and Isaiah when they were contacted at Timberline High School. Do you know whether after Officer Beltran spoke to them, whether he updated you on what Fatima and Isaiah had told him about what had occurred?
He did.
Okay. And did your involvement in this case conclude at that point, after you spoke with Mr. Wagner at the bus stop?
It did not.
Okay, and where did you go next?
Later that evening, I went to St. Peter's Hospital.
Okay, and what was the purpose of going to St. Peter's Hospital?
It was to speak with CPS and to get a recorded statement from Fatima herself.
Okay, and where did you contact Fatima?
I was in the emergency department.
Okay. Officer Hang, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 35. Do you recognize what I've handed you?
Yes.
It was like this for most of the day. We could not see any exhibits, but let's continue on to his testimony.
Fatima, does that
Hold up.
accurately depict the
Let me try and find.
condition that she was in when you interviewed her?
Yes.
Your Honor, when you indicated that you contacted Fatima in the emergency department at St. Peter's Hospital, did you contact her in a room in the emergency department or sort of just in the lobby area?
It was in that room.
Okay. And then what was her demeanor like when you spoke with her?
Pretty weak, pretty tired.
Okay. And what did you hear or observe that made you think that she was weak and tired?
When we started the interview, she was just very soft-spoken, had a little bit of a raspy voice, and I had to continually kind of move my phone closer and closer to her so I can get a good recorded statement.
Okay. And without telling the
And that's really important because this would show that she has suffered substantial, well, not I'm not going to use the word substantial, but at least some form of injuries based on what happened, that she was choked up to a point that she can't even speak clearly. So which is where the raspy voice is coming into, and she was really tired. So all of that is going back. So I hope they definitely have him on assault, because that's what it looks like. They definitely have him on assault, but I think that they might prevail with the attempted murder charge. But they really need to show that he had taken a substantial step towards committing a crime. I think this is proof enough, but like I think this is proof enough for attempted second-degree murder, because the intent is actually there to actually try the killing, because you can die from strangulation.
the jury what Fatima said during your interview with her, was she able to tell you what had transpired on October 18th, that
Yeah.
letter to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay, and without telling the jury what she said to you, was she also able to relate to you whether she had any pains or injuries?
Yes.
Okay. And after contacting Fatima at the hospital, did you contact anyone else?
I did.
And who did you make contact with?
Later that evening, CPS arrived, and then as well as Isaiah and his mom.
Okay. And when Isaiah and his mother arrived at the hospital, did you also speak to them?
I did.
And when you spoke with Isaiah, what, if anything, did he provide you or did he show you?
He showed me a video of the incident
The incident that happened where?
at Timberline High School.
Okay.
Okay, so we know that that CPS was involved in all of this, but the interesting part about this is when there is a bit of a backstory here, because from what I've read as well and what has come out in trial is that the mother was served. Well, I would assume the family was served a protection order from going near Fatima, and it was served by this officer as well. So he went in. So he's going to testify to going in on the 16th of October to serve the protection order. To not go in. To not approach the school or see Fatima while she was in the school custody, simply because of the fact that Fatima had run away from home and had sought and thought that her life was, I believed, well, I believed, or it was my opinion, that she thought that her life was in danger, which is why she ran. So so this is the testimony that he made.
It was served October 16th, 2024.
Okay. And who did you serve the order on?
It was served to Zahraa Ali.
Okay. And then where did you serve the order?
Yeah, they also cut out the audio as well. So there is that.
Mrs. Ali, what was her reaction?
She seemed a little surprised by it.
Okay. And was your service of the temporary protection order also captured on your body worn camera?
It was.
We're gonna see that that order protection being served on body worn camera. Oh.
Permission to approach the witness.
You may.
Officer Hang handed you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 38. Do you recognize what I've handed you?
I do.
Okay, and what is Exhibit 38?
It was a copy of my body cam.
Okay, and is what's contained on Exhibit 38 what's contained on Exhibit 38, does it accurately depict the conversation you had with Mrs. Ali when you served on her the temporary protection order?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time the state offers for admission into evidence Exhibit 38.
Any objection, Mr. Kading? Mr. Larry? 38 shall be admitted.
Your Honor, permission to publish.
You may publish.
And Officer Hang, before publishing this exhibit, just a few more.
I'm trying faster. I'm trying to go a bit faster. There we go. Okay, here we go.
I have some court documents here that I need to give you. You know, for a reason. You're not in trouble. So it sounds like somebody filed a petition for an anti-harassment against you. You know anything about that? So you can take a look at it, right? So it's a temporary protection order. I don't know if you know these folks at all. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm assuming maybe I don't know if you know these folks. So it's saying like don't make contact with these people in any way. Don't call them, talk to them.
That's what this is about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you do, then you're subject to like arrest, right?
So this person goes with my sister, her daughter.
Okay. Go to school or something. Something
Yeah.
happened.
Something happened, yeah.
So something happened with the school to now where the parents weren't involved. There's
Coming from school, I say?
You can look at it. So if you look at the petition that they wrote in the back.
You from school?
Me?
Yes.
No, from Maz Idriss.
Okay, and then
A lot of things. The defense decided to highlight this part as well, by saying that they were assuming that they were from the school and not the police, but clearly he's on camera here saying that no, he's actually from from the police, and he's serving this order. So on cross examination, they made a fuss about this.
What you telling me for this business, she not going to school anymore.
Okay, which is fine. If she's not going to school anymore, then
Yes.
yeah, just whatever you do, don't talk to these people.
No, I'm not talking.
And yeah, I think we should move on.
So this position, do we have to go to court for this?
Yeah, it looks like there's a hearing, right? It's on the 24th.
24th is.
If she wants to contest it, right? If she says I don't care, because this is a temporary, so it's just good up until the court date. So it's like 2 weeks usually.
Is it required or is it an option for her to not to go?
I would call these numbers.
So they had a hearing for the 24th in regards to this temporary restraining order, which temporary violation order, which I imagine would have likely gone away after the 24th. So they found the daughter on the 18th, and basically, yeah, she was being strangled, and testimony is gonna show that the mother was also strangling the child as well. So on cross examination, what was because he testified that Fatima was being strangled to a point that she had lost she was losing color, etc. So he was asked questions in regards to pedicure, which signs of pedicure is basically dots appearing on your face, which is common with strangulation injuries. I had to go and read that up on a college paper. I would link that below, but basically it's a common injury pattern that is found in strangulation cases. When they asked this, I actually thought that was a bit weird, because it seemed like they were trying to argue that she wasn't actually being strangled, that she was just that the arm was just around her, that she wasn't actually being strangled. There was no intent there to kill, and it was a very simple redirect from the state. They just basically said, "Are you a medical doctor to even know these things?" And you said no. He's just speaking to his observation. So I'm gonna go on to Mary Wagner, who is the next witness, and she is basically the first one that she alongside her husband or boyfriend. I can't remember the exact relationship, but basically they were all there, and she was basically testifying to what she saw of a man having her arm around the neck, and she gave her version of who was she gave her description of who was around at the scene. Let's watch.
When Josh crossed the street, he disappeared into the group of people, and then he was pushing people aside to get down to what was the source of all of the conflict.
And do you recall if he pushed, who did he push aside?
So there was the man that was holding the young woman, and then there were other teenagers that were hitting the man. And then there were also 2 other women that were trying to get in the way of the teenager who was hitting the man. And then Josh was pushing everyone aside, and he got down to the man who was holding the young woman on the ground. And at that point, yes. So I don't know how much further. Sorry, I don't know how much of the story you want, or if there's initial questions that you want me to stop for. Okay.
So as I understand where you're at right now, have you exited the vehicle yet, or are you still in the vehicle? Do you remember?
At this point, I had exited the vehicle, but I was still standing next to the vehicle, and I was on the phone with 911, and I was describing to them what I was seeing.
Yeah, so she was the one that called 911, and also she went on to testify that the young woman, which was in this case Fatima, was running away from the 2 women that were in all. I don't think it was Fatima. I think that, you know what? Let me just go to the testimony. It will make it so much easier. for me to recall that memory. Let me go on.
Man was trying to.
I'm gonna sustain as to non-responsive.
So, not assuming or speculating about what they did, what did you observe? What did it appear to you that you observed?
They were running toward the young woman who had just gotten up off the ground, and the young man was trying to prevent them from getting to her.
And what was the young woman doing specifically?
She was stumbling and running in the opposite direction of where she had come from.
Okay, was she running back towards either woman in black?
No, she was running away.
So at this point, I was confused because I don't know. There was no identification to who this young woman was. I assumed that it was Fatima, but this could have been her friends. This could have been because there was a lot of teenagers around her. So I wish this is something that I wish the prosecution did was try to identify. But then again, these people did not know who these people were. So it's hard for them to. It's hard. The only person that they could identify was the defendants that were in the courtroom. So yeah, that's just me. The next witness was Josh Wagner, and he is the boyfriend or husband. I don't know, but he testified to being part of the army. That's how he was able to tell what kind of chokehold he had on being Ihsan Ali, the kind of chokehold he had on Fatima. He called it a rear naked chokehold. But I want to go into his testimony in regards to seeing Fatima changing colors and losing consciousness, because this is what he had to say.
Yourself as assisting in trying to remove the young female from the older male. Were there any other adult males that were helping you with that?
No, not initially.
Okay. What about later?
There was the bus driver that got out, and he was kind of standing there. I don't think he knew what to do.
Okay.
And by that point, it was already kind of under control.
Okay. And what about that adult female that with the head covering? Was she assisting in any way, helping remove the?
I don't remember that. I wasn't focused on that.
Okay. You don't remember her assisting?
No.
That was present. And do you recall a young man that was present at the scene? I apologize. That was poorly worded. Do you recall any of the kids specifically that were there at the scene as if they were helping?
No.
Okay. Do you remember, in terms of the adult female that was present at the scene, if she was saying anything? You described her as crying. Do you remember if she was saying anything at the time?
She was speaking in. She wasn't speaking English.
Okay. So she was saying something but not in English.
Yes.
When you saw the young female, how did she appear to you when you saw her?
Her face was changing colors when she was being choked.
What kind of colors? When you say that, what is that?
She was going to lose consciousness if it continued.
And the thing about because he testified earlier that he had experience in the army for 16 years, if memory serves, and he also 13 years, not 16, and he also said that he was a mechanic. So if he was a medic, this would have been a completely different ball game, but completely different testimony. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't know the nature of injuries and what would happen, etc. So his testimony and him being the eyewitness is very, very key to at least showing that this girl would have died at the scene, because that will be the center of argument here. Whether she was near death or not, or whether she would have lost her life based on Ihsan Ali's actions. So that's why the defense are trying so hard to, in my opinion, differentiate or try to say that the choking wasn't fatal, or it wasn't going to that territory of being fatal, that what he was doing was restraining or something like that. But I don't know how they're going. I don't know how they are going to argue that video, because to me that looks like a man full of rage running towards her, running towards a woman and jumping on her. I don't know what they're going to argue, but weirder things have happened. I haven't seen them really make any sort of arguments, any sort of I haven't seen them really made. How do I say it? They outside of trying to differentiate the colors with what he called what did he call it, pedicaya, outside of them trying to differentiate that with Officer Hyang testimony. I haven't really seen them try to go into the substance of the video that much. They have really steered clear, or at least try to steer clear of the internal video. Anyway, we're gonna go to the last witness of the day, and that is Justin Bertrand. He was the witness. He is an SRO, which is a senior resource officer of River Ridge High School, as he testified to. But he was on the scene, and he was trying to track down the school Fatima was in. So he basically testified that he saw Fatima when she was being treated by the school's nurses. So even though it wasn't his district, because I believe he said belongs to another woman. I think it was Tasha or something. I can't really remember the name, but it wasn't his district. So because he was on the scene and kind of saw the aftermath, he went to the school to basically see how Fatima was doing. Let's go to his testimony. He's gonna continue his testimony today as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the testimony so let's just go to. Here we go.
First, at the time it was the office, I walked back there and entered the room.
And who was back in the nurse's office?
The nurse at the time was Fatima, Isaiah, and Principal Dean.
So this testimony is really important, because if Isaiah, because it seems to me that they're trying to establish that Isaiah was at least the source of anger for Ihsan Ali based on his injuries. So what he's about to say is really key in regards to Isaiah's injuries.
And there might have been one or two others, but I was only in there for maybe 10 seconds or so. I was in there very, very briefly.
Okay. And then where did you go after that initial, about 10 seconds is the nurse's office? What happened next?
Yeah, so I inquired if Fatima needed medical, and I was advised yes, so I exited the room and called for medical or fire to respond to evaluate Fatima.
And did they in fact arrive and conduct a medical evaluation?
They did.
For who?
Fatima.
How did Fatima appear to you when you made contact with her?
Upon initial contact, she was seated. She was quiet in the corner, but then again, I was only in there for just a few seconds to inquire about medical, and then I remained out of that room until fire completed their evaluation.
Where did you go while fire was doing their evaluation?
I remained outside in the main office, going back and forth to see if we can track down video surveillance, to talk to my partners, to just kind of figure out where we're at in this investigation. completed their evaluation.
All right, so they went into some of the logistics that he did, but this is him where he is describing the injuries to Isaiah.
By 1450 hours.
Okay. And did you take a statement from Fatima at that time?
After being advised that she was to be transported to Providence St. Peter Hospital, I conducted a preliminary statement from her, or obtained a preliminary statement from her.
Were there any, let me back up. Did you make contact with anyone by the name of Isaiah Williams at that time?
I did.
And were you able to take a statement from him regarding those events?
At a later time.
Okay. And were his parents on scene at that time?
Yes.
Okay. At the time that the statement was taken, were his parents on scene?
They were.
Okay. Prior to that, were his parents on scene?
They were not.
Okay. Do you know about what time you took that statement from Isaiah?
About 1545 hours.
And regarding Isaiah, were you able to observe whether he had any kind of markings or apparent external injuries on his person?
I did.
And what did you observe?
He had a bump on above his left eyebrow or near his left temple. There was some redness and swelling. He also had small abrasion on his left cheek and some scratches on his left shoulder.
Did you take any photographs of those injuries that you identified?
I did.
And when and where did you take those photos?
After I conducted the audio and video recorded statement with the permission of his parents, I also took those photographs within that conference room, the same location where he was interviewed.
What was his demeanor when you observed him?
Overwhelmed, very emotional.
I think this test is gonna end here for the day anyway. So I think so far the testimony that he's giving is going into. I think this might be the assault in the fourth, or is it third degree? I think this might be the assault in the fourth degree. So I think that that these injuries towards Isaiah is likely is likely going to be the intent part that they're gonna focus on. Well, that they're gonna focus on in terms of the motive to actually do this, because I think what we're gonna see from this trial is going to be the prosecution try to establish or try to explain why Ihsan did what he did, even though they don't have to show that he premeditated the whole thing, that he planned this all out. Even though they don't have to show that, they still have to meet the substantial step forward, and that is what would have tipped him over the edge, or in this case, motive. What would be the motive to commit this murder? So to me, they are likely going to focus on the fact that, especially now that they can't bring in the fact that she was arranged to be married, and I still don't understand the ruling, but moving forward anyway, even though they can't bring that in, they are going to show at least that he didn't approve of the daughter being in a relationship with this man, because this was the boyfriend. I believe Isaiah was the boyfriend, and the fact that he also punched the boyfriend and assaulted the boyfriend to even have the injuries that he did. It seemed like he was the first target, and then Fatima was the one that he went for when he was on the ground. So because of that, let me try and actually find the unfiltered video. Let me look for that actually. Because I only relied on the video in court, but it wasn't. Oh, hold on. So yeah, so let me try and see this. Hold up. I don't have it here. So is the video showing the subdue, but not the showing the arrest and the subduing of Ihsan Ali, but not the fight. I can't find the video. The fight is likely scrubbed off the internet. People have seen the fight, but yeah, so it's likely scrubbed off the internet due to the fact that that minors were in the video. But this is the only thing I found, and that is this picture of going after Isaiah. So likely he was the first one. Likely this is Isaiah, and he was the first one that he went after, and then Fatima was the next one. So like I said, the prosecution most likely is going to be going to be focusing on it's going to be focusing on the fact that it's going to be focusing on the fact that the whole attempted murder happened because of the boyfriend. So I'm gonna get to your chat. Thank you so much, everyone that tuned in. That's tuning into this. Thank you so much. Young Black Economist, good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in. She says, I'm curious about the mom's charges seen from the video. Dad was the only assaulter. So it wasn't seen on the video. From what was said in court, the mom was also on top of. This testimony came out with Mary Wagner. She said that the mom was also on top of her, strangling her as well. So the jury are going to see the full version, because we only saw a little bit of it on that court TV stream. There is, I looked everywhere else. I tried to find it, but there was no. I tried to even find it now actually, but there was no. There was no part of the video out there. So please say it's Twitter yesterday, but I haven't looked for it. I'm guessing you mean the video. You say, I would love to know your view. I personally think that the judge may have done it because it's illegal in the States to have an arranged marriage. So that's the only thing that's coming, into my mind in regards to the ruling. That's the only reason why I think that the judge may have made the ruling. I don't really agree with it. But the only thing that really would make the ruling make sense to me is the fact that it's not legal to have an arranged marriage here, and he's not being charged with that. So because of that, she may have thought, yeah, this is too prejudicial. It's like getting gun charges. It's like saying he had an illegal gun or something like that, or she had an illegal gun, and I don't know, something along those lines. That's what I'm thinking that the judge may have done. But yeah, so so the mom being charged for attempted murder as well. In all fairness, she might get off with she might be found not guilty of that, if I'm being honest. But there are testimony that she was on top of the child as well, and I'm pretty sure the jury are going to, see the full video. So that they're gonna see the video for themselves. It's not illegal to have an arranged marriage. It's illegal to have a forced marriage. Oh, can you? I didn't even know that. Can you actually have an arranged marriage over in the States? I didn't even know that. Yeah, but yeah, of course, you can't force anyone into marriage. I definitely know that part, but I didn't know that you can have an arranged marriage over there. So that's what I thought. That's why I thought the judge may have made the ruling. But I don't know. She didn't really, from what I read, she didn't really give reasons for why she made the ruling. It was just, it can't come in. So, maybe they can't mention it in the opening statements. Maybe that's what she meant. Maybe they can't present witnesses to talk about it. It wasn't really clear from the reports that I read in regards to that. But that ruling can change at any time, because of testimony that is given by the witnesses. So we have to wait and see, because if someone comes in and then testifies to there being travel to another country and she didn't want to go, I don't know if that would open the door or not, but yeah, anyway, but that's just my view. So I do think that she's going to be guilty of violating the mother, in this case anyway, will be guilty of violating the restraining order. I mean, it's right there on video. She wasn't meant to go near the daughter, and she's on top of the daughter. So that's going to be a really easy decision. I don't know about the kidnapping charges. I have no idea how where that's gonna go. There is a lot of the case to go, so I have no idea where they're gonna go with the kidnapping charges, or what evidence that they're gonna present to prove that charge. But definitely, I think at least for attempted murder, I think they have a strong case for that. They just have to put down. But then again, I'm not a legal professional, so I don't know if they have to show the motive for doing it. But I'm just interpreting what is meant by substantial step. So to me, substantial step sounds like motive. It sounds like what made the person do what they do, and the steps that they have gone to execute with intent what they basically gone to do. It's not premeditation and planning it out. It's just so that's what I gather from but it is second degree murder, so they may not, so that substantial step forward may not even matter. So I don't know. I await for the jury instructions later on. Yes, it's prejudicial, especially for Americans. Like, it's a total brain rot over here since 9/11. As soon as Americans hear that they're Iraqi, immediately many want all Iraqis deported from one guy's crime. That's insane. I know that a lot of I know over there, and border issues, race relations, all of those things is kind of a massive thing over there. So I'm not going to, I'm a Brit. So, I mean, we have similar problems over here, but over here we're more worried about going to prison for what we tweet and what we say. It's happened here. So, but yeah. Let me go. Yeah, supposed to be 2 weeks. I'm also curious. Definitely assault charges that for that is clear. Yeah, I'm not sure how strong the mom charges are. Yeah, I definitely think, and I'm gonna close off on this anyway. Because the trial is gonna kick off in like literally probably 10 minutes from now. I really wanted to do this last night. Because it was night for me. Like, I hate that this trial is in Washington State, because the time zones is whack. It's really bad. So for me, I was up to 12 midnight or half 12 or something along those times watching the trial. So I was thinking, should I do my live now or do it tomorrow morning before the trial starts? So I decided for tomorrow morning, but I'm definitely tomorrow afternoon for me, but morning for you guys. But anyway, I decided on the morning, and here we are. But I think I'm gonna do one tonight after the trial was over to recap. So hopefully you guys will tune in tonight after the trial is over. I should be doing it around, it would be 5:30 PST or 6 p.m. PST. It would be around that time. I think that's 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't know if I've got my time zones right, but I would definitely set up a stream for day 2 recap. I want to recap this case. I want to follow, document everything that's happening in court. I have put into the description all the sources that I've used in this video, as well as, you know, for the full trial of day 1 if you want to watch it for yourself. So yes, if you do a recap tonight, I would think many would. Let's see. But like it was just very late for me, and I was thinking who is gonna join me at 1 a.m. in the morning, but I forget sometimes. But when I realized, oh yeah, this is you know, the States, it's a bit different rules. That's when I realized, okay, maybe I should do the stream. So anyway, I hate the fact that this is so late. I hate that. But anyway, make sure. So the day 2 is starting very, very soon. So do go check that out. We shall be back tonight live to go through day 2. I hope that you guys did get a bit of an idea of what happened in day 1. I'm just getting back into the groove of doing live streams and all of that. So there's plenty more to come on the channel. For those that don't know, also keep an eye out on the community notes, because on the community page, because I always do posts on there giving updates, etc. Raul Valle has been charged again. So that case is going to go back to trial for assault and manslaughter and reckless manslaughter. So, manslaughter without intent, which is reckless. So I'm going to be recapping that case as well when it goes to trial, which I believe it should be a couple of months away. I don't think much is going to be left there. I don't think much is going to be needed to be ironed through. But yeah, so it's like 8 hours difference for you in the UK. It's rough for me just being 3 hours. Yeah, I'm in Atlanta. It goes ATL. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you've joined us. I'm glad that you found time at 11. It should be 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. over there. So I'm glad that you are up early to join us and and go through this. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you, all of you guys, for making this stream fun. I will see you guys tonight for day 2 recap. I will post it on the I'll post it on the community page so that you guys can join in. But yeah, see you guys tonight. Let me know how you are feeling if you're watching this back on replay. Let me know how you're feeling in the comment section. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys later. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Catch Up Court podcast. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe for more legal cases that we cover on this channel. We do nothing but cover legal cases and true crime on here. You can also check out our playlist that we have of all of our content. They're all available in the playlist option. Make sure you go check that out. So make sure that you hurry back and catch up with us. See you on the next one. Bye for now.